Inspirational quote, if I may. When I doubt, I love myself for doubting. When I feel lack, I love myself for this feeling, for it is only love that will evaporate the doubt and quench my heart's thirst. I love myself for misunderstanding. My new love will bring wisdom to my heart. I love and forgive myself for hurting others, for my lack of love was my only error. I forgive myself for my emptiness, and I march forward with my army of love to heal those around me with forgiveness. My new love glistens in my heart as the dew on the shimmering green meadow. It sings in my soul like a songbird symphony in the springtime, and it cleanses my being as a waterfall's mist douses the crisp evening air. Yes, I am love, relentlessly pursuing your heart. You have looked here and you have looked there for me, yet I have waited patiently to fulfill the real dreams and desires of your eternal nature. Many times when you have doubted, I awaited you as you fought your self-created battles, and now the battlefield is clear and you have conquered the enemy within. By allowing me to enter through your heart as your commander-in-chief, many times you have believed yourself to be separate from love. Love is what you are and what you have always been. Loving yourself is where it starts. All is one love is all. Thank you. Now we have a real treat because we're going to have some live music and we're all going to be happy. Carol and the Goodfellas.
Yes, good morning to all. We're very happy to have the band back together. Yeah, he's wearing two hats today, and we're going to be, bringing it back once a month like we had been. Slowly but surely things are getting back to normal a little. Okay, and like you said, how are you feeling today? Is everybody happy? All right. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that can float through space with the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. 'Cause I'm so happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. 'Cause I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. 'Cause I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is to you. 'Cause I'm happy, clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. Come here, bad news, taking this and that. Give me all you got and then hold it back. I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. And here's why, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. 'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. 'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel what happiness is to you. 'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel that that's what you wanna do. Bring me down, can nothing go? Bring me down, my level's too high. Keep me down, and nothing happy. Bring me down, I'll tell you why. Happy, bring me down, and nothing go. Bring me down, my level's too high. Keep me down, and nothing go. Bring me down, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. 'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. 'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. 'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel that that's what you wanna do. 'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof, yeah. 'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel that happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
'cause I'm happy.
Clap along if you feel that that's what you want to do. Yeah! Woo!
All right.
Let's give another hand to Carol and the Goodfellas. I'm so fortunate. I asked Carol to do a song, and she delivers for me, so I'm very grateful. If you weren't happy when you walked in, I bet you are now. My conversation with you this morning is the journey of love. It's about, what is love? It's about self-care. Dr. David Hawkins introduces us to this idea that love is not an emotion, it's a state of being. It's all around us. It's who and what we are, and as much as we can allow that to be. Vincent van Gogh was an artist. He was a prolific artist in the Impressionistic era, and he said, the true artist is one who creates love. The true artistic person is the one who creates love. And he did prolific work of like 2,000 paintings, and yet he said that. So this morning I want to talk about love as self-care. This idea that I'm going to share with you this morning is in my book, and it was born out of my sharing this with someone, and they said, that is good. You need to write that, and you need to tell people. And what it is, it's really the creative process. And of course, we know there's nothing new under the sun, right? Nothing new. So I'm not saying anything new, because people have been talking about the spirit, the mind, and the body since long, long time. Marcus Aurelius, long time ago. So this is really a Joel Goldsmith concept. We are deathless, birthless, ageless, without beginning and without end. Always have been, are now, and always will be. So at our very core and our essence, we are spirit. Always have been, are now, and always will be. We're on an eternal journey. Eternal journey. We are, in our essence, our spirit. But we have a toolbox, and I carry my toolbox with me wherever I go. In my toolbox is my physical body. It's something I use. It's not who I am. I am spirit. In my toolbox is my emotional nature. How I feel is not who I am. It's something I use. In my toolbox is my mind. It's how I think is not who I am. It's a fleeting, moving, continuous thing. It's in my toolbox. And then my soul. So there's 4 things in my toolbox: my physical level, my emotions, my mind, and my soul. Let's talk about the physical level for a few minutes. All the people who are workout enthusiasts of Tai Chi, yoga, Zumba, Pure Barre, cycling, whatever, they will say that the very core of your health is your physical body. The very essence, because it transforms that biological level. So it's important how we care and what we eat. In 1982, I was sitting right back there in a purple outfit, and the reason I make that point, when I am experiencing something significant in my life that I don't forget, I even remember what I'm wearing. I was sitting right back there, and Reverend Leroy was up here. He told us a story about a woman who had eaten organic foods, had eaten perfectly, and had taken all the right vitamins, and she died when she was about in her early 60s. I was sitting right back there and I was thinking, oh shoot, this is not going to work. Because I was on the same regime, trying to do everything perfect. And I tell you with enormous compassion for all of us, it took me 20 years to hear what he really said and to get out of that mindset. Because you see, what it really is rigid thinking. That's what kills us. Rigid thinking and not playing and not having fun in this world. So happy, right? Happy. And we all know that feeling where we get a gut punch and we go, Oh, and you can feel how that emotion has affected the physical body. So it's not just all about what we eat and how much we exercise and sunshine and all of that. It's important, but it's not everything. And so in the physical level, we do the best we can, and we just keep doing the best we can. Let's talk for a moment about the emotional level. I was prompted to know that there was someone who had died. They were very close friends of mine, and her son had died. They lived together. I sent a note of condolence to her, and she called me. She was crying profusely. She said, "It's been 3 weeks since my son died, and I can't stop crying." So I listened to her story because I hadn't seen her in a couple of years. I listened to her story. And she and I had been prayer partners, and her son was always there for me. For 20 years, I could text him, and he'd be right at my door. So it was a great loss for me, too. I listened to what she had to say. And then I said this. I said, first of all, let's remember what your son accomplished in this lifetime. I said, he's had over 20 years of sobriety, and he was friends to so many people to keep them on their path as well. She said, "Oh, you're right." And I said, and remember, I know we're not supposed to bury our children, but I said, he's finally free. He had been in a car accident about 10 years ago. He had been in excruciating pain, off and on for those 10 years, all down in his shoulder. About a month before he left this earth, he had had an operation. It had not been successful. And we all know that back pain can be some of the most difficult pain there is to experience in the physical presence. And the surgery had not been successful. And he kept saying to his mom, "Mom, I'm not going back under the knife. I'm not going back under the knife." Well, I said, first of all, he's free. Let's remember he's no longer in pain. And I said, and the other thing is, I said, I wonder if some of the things he said to you wasn't really kind of, he was tired and he was ready to move on. She said, "Oh, Mary, you got it. And she began delineating the moments that he told her in the last week or two. He was tired. What I'm showing you this morning by the example I'm giving you is how I tried to go into that emotional depths and pull her up into the mind, so that she had the balance of the mind and the heart. I wasn't taking her grief away. I was just offering her something that might pull her up out of there. The reason I'm sharing that with you is we can all do that, right? Nothing special that I did. Let's talk about the mind for a few moments. The highest level of emotion is peace. The highest level of the mind is clarity. I was helping her to get clear. Sometimes I surf the channels on TV, and it drives me crazy when I come to the doomsday preppers. I want to know why somebody's got to stack all this food and stack all this water and stack all this stuff. And the last time I watched it, I was only on there a minute. They were getting a boat, mom and 2 children, preparing for an artificial run for some future catastrophe to go down this river as a way to get out. I want to know, knowing how powerful the mind is, why are we not thinking about peace on earth? Why are we not thinking about sunshine, fresh air, fresh food, fresh vegetables, something interesting to do, something interesting to learn? Why are we not thinking about that instead of preparing for some catastrophe here on earth? So it brings to mind for me Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah was the founder of the Baha'i faith. For any of you who don't know, that is a branch of Islam, and it's very much about peace. But 3 main precepts that were endearing to me from the first time I heard about his religion that he created. One is about, it's the unity globe with wings on each side. He has that emblem that he uses, and it's about the balance of the male and the female here on earth. And everything I'm getting ready to tell you is about peace on earth. this is what he says about what we need to do to bring peace on earth. So the first thing is the balance of the male and female. The second thing, everybody needs to be educated at a certain level so we can communicate with one another. So let's say high school. Everybody on earth could be educated to the high school level. And then the third thing is to speak one language. These are all his concepts. Balance of male-female, everyone educated to a certain level so we can communicate and then have one world language. He said, then we could have peace on earth. So as I'm bringing that to you about an image of something that we can think collectively about the possibility of having peace on earth through our thoughts, through balancing and creating a world where everyone is heard and everyone is safe. When I think of soul, I think of purpose. We all come here to earth and we all have a purpose of being our inner light. That is our number one purpose. But we differentiate, and some go into law, medicine, education, lots of different fields, right? And by the way, a young child born now will have like 4 different careers. I didn't say jobs, I said careers. That means training and retraining. Somebody could be a neurosurgeon and be an artist in the same lifetime. So this is the new world that we're coming into. So purpose, so the soul. I want to share something with you about the soul. I heard about a friend of mine in Tampa who was at hospice. She and I had crossed paths in New Thought churches in Tampa, become friends. We had worked in the same school in Tampa, Florida. One morning, we were in the copy room, and I was making some copies, and she was there, and we exchanged one of those serendipitous, synchronistic moments of spirit where we shared with one another. I went to the hospice center. I asked to see her, and they said, oh, yes, she's getting ready to be moved to Sun City. The ambulance is right out there. I looked out, and the doors were open. They said, if you hurry, you can get to see her. I went down the hall, went in her room. I slid my hand into hers. She was asleep. I knew her condition was such she probably wouldn't be able to talk back to me. So, sure enough, I got there, and she was sleeping. I held her hand. I reached over and told her who I was, and I began to talk about that moment of spirit that we shared in the copy room. And her eyes got big and flew open. And I began to talk to her about who I was and that I was so happy to see her. And she was wide-eyed, and then all of a sudden her eyes looked like, oh, thank you so much for coming to see me. But she couldn't say it. So we talked a little bit, or I talked to her, told her she was going to go for a ride, go to a more comfortable place, and going to have a good time. And then I said, she was Science of Mind, so I said, would you like for me to do a Science of Mind treatment for you? She had never heard me pray before. But I've had 2 years of Science of Mind, so it just flowed out of me with no effort at all. So I did her form of prayer, and she was so deeply touched that there was a tear coming down her cheek. So we communicated soul to soul. As I got ready to leave, the tear was coming down her cheek. So we're all connected, aren't we? You may say, well, why is it that you're differentiating and putting this in a toolbox? It's because so that we can get some distance from it and look at it. I was just out in Colorado, and we were selling Lonnie's house, and I'm telling you, I use my toolbox all the time because every time I was turning around, there was something coming up in my face about something that was a disaster. And so I was having to use all of my resources as a spiritual being to figure out how to walk through this. So it was helpful to know, like, what level is this coming from? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? How can I go into a sense of peace about this? I have several techniques that I use, and one is I send light to a situation. I say a prayer and send it to God. And I say, God goes before me and prepares the way. Those are 3 things that I use for variety in that. So I just kept doing that. And after each thing I did, I released it and let it go. So everything began dissolving right before us. And I wouldn't say anything to him. I would just look over and smile, and it's gone. It's gone again. It's gone again. This is good. But the toolbox was very helpful to me because I kept going to Spirit. And what is it that I've outlined this morning? Really, that creative process of bringing that Spirit down through all of the levels. Because you see, we can get distortion in that through how we think. We can get distortion in that with how we feel, you know? And we get off on these tangents of how we feel and how we think and all this drama. It's not even important. And the way we really dissolve all that is really by being still and just letting it go as best we can. I've worked on this principle. This is what Spirit has taught me in this lifetime. I've worked on these ideas all of my life, really. And I have to tell you that the outcome of that is I feel like I learn more easily. I used to be so sluggish, I couldn't even learn anything new. And I just kept dumping that stuff out of the mental level and out of the emotional level, just to the best that I could do. And you don't have to be perfect. And you go, oh, well, Mary, I'm such and such age, I can't do that. You began when you were really young, and I'm older. Well, this is the work. I'm telling you, this is the work. There's nothing much more important than this. All of this drama that's going on collectively is going to leave, and we're going to have new problems and new situations in our life and new challenges. And so the work is to feel the power inside of ourselves. Someone was talking to me, and they were saying, you know, the world is so uncertain right now. I don't even know how to prepare for retirement because it's just so uncertain. And I said, where is your power? Your power is inside of yourself. And out of that, you move and you attract that which is for you into your life. That's how you make it happen. And it's not out there. It's not something you got to go reach. It's right here inside. And out of that, you begin to bring into your world and into your experience that which is divinely right for you. It has projected that there will be an app on our cell phone where we can go over our body with this app. It will be 400 times more powerful than a CAT scan for us to use this cell phone and go over our body. If we detect 10 cells of cancer, we're going to be able to zap it with this app on our cell phone. What I want to tell you is don't wait for the technology. The thing that I just outlined is here for you today. I'm telling you, we're just healthier, we're wealthier, we have great relationships, we have rewarding work in the world to do just by following that creative process I just outlined. Just be translucent and transparent and allow that light to come through you at the highest level that it can. That is the journey of love. That is the journey of self-love. I love you. I leave you with that, and God bless you. Have a wonderful week.
Oh, yeah.
And go ahead, Steve. There we go. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can help me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Here we go. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now. Yeah, have a wonderful afternoon, everybody. Thank you.